Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another webinar today. On students' request, we have been holding this amazing webinar for your popular destination, that is USA. And before we dive into the session, I would quickly like to understand if my voice is audible to you. So if I'm audible, please do type in a yes in the chat box. And also, if you have any questions pertaining to pursuing your higher education in the USA, do mention in the chat box. And we would be glad to answer them by end of the session out there. Great. I see a lot of yes coming in. Thank you so much for your confirmation. And now I would like to talk a little bit about Galvanize Global Education, who we are and what exactly we do. And we are very happy to share that Galvanize Global Education is actually founded and managed by alumni from top universities like Stanford, Harvard, IIT Madras, and IIM Ahmedabad. And Galvanize has been helping students right from their basic, baby step, I would say, that is preparing for the tests for GRE, SAT, IELTS, and TOEFL. And not only that, we have a team of experts helping students for their admission counseling services. Though this looks simple, trust me, it is not. There are a lot of things which comes into admission counseling, and I'm pretty sure you're going to take a small hint of what exactly the whole admission process happens in today's webinar. So Galvanize is also there at your back for last minute assistance, wherein we help students connect with the right loan providers in case you're looking for education loans out there, and many more such activities. Well, as you can see, a lot of country names are mentioned, and we are very happy to share that 65 plus countries have chosen Galvanize in their journey of higher education. And not only that, we have helped our students get placed across 1,000 plus universities across 18 plus countries. And I'm pretty sure you would be seeing your dream destination today on screen, and Galvanize would be really glad to help you reach to your dream destination out there. Well, a lot of you might be on Quora for various other reasons. And yes, of course, looking at some amazing answers with respect to, test providers or admission services out there. And so I won't take much of your time here, but I would quickly want you to take a look at these threads. And these threads have been shared in chat box. And here students have shared their feedback about their journey with Galvanize. And this, I believe, will give you more confidence to take your step towards Galvanize today. And not only that, Galvanize does have mobile applications. If you haven't been using it, please do take a look at the mobile applications. These are amazing applications with amazing ratings. And this ratings is because a lot of students have loved our applications. So we are on Play Store as well as app stores out there. So take a look at the mobile applications. Well, it's quickly my turn to take a short poll right now, wherein I would like to understand how familiar are you with the application process for universities abroad? Well, this poll will help us understand, focus on today's webinar with more detail and, informative session out there. Okay, I see a lot of you are not very familiar with it. Great. Thank you so much for participating in this poll. And this has given us an idea as to a lot of you are somewhat familiar. And I'm pretty sure this session will leave you more confident and familiar with the application process out there. With that, a quick freebie alert that we have for you. Attendees of today's webinar would be eligible for a profile evaluation. What does happen in this profile evaluation? Basically, you get to speak to one of our experts out there, talk about your profile, understand what are the shortcomings in there, and how Galvanize can help you overcome those shortcomings. And yes, of course, if you have any particular questions, you could absolutely get in touch with experts. So this is a very amazing offer out there right now, so that you could speak to experts out there. And for this, I will be sharing the link shortly in the chat box. Moving forward, I would like to introduce to you our host for today's webinar. We have with us Sujaya Roy, who's a senior university admissions expert at Galvanize Global Education. And a little bit about her profile. So she did her graduation in microbiology from LED College, Nagpur. And after that, she pursued her master's degree in marketing from IMI, New Delhi. Yes, you can see her experience, an immense 17 plus years of professional experience in this industry. She has helped a number of students get into their dream destinations, either for MS, PhD, or MBA out there. And She's got close to a decade of experience in handling international school education as well. And we are very glad to have Sujaya here for today's webinar. And with that, I would request Sujaya ma'am to start with the session.
Hi everyone. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Your voice is audible.
Okay. I would quickly share my screen. Can you all see my screen as well? I'll just put it in a slideshow. Is it visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for turning on in a weekend evening. It's always good to see the aspiring candidate coming. So without any further delay, just dive into the United States of America. Okay. Now, this is, the screen. In the screen that you are seeing is the most popular states and cities of America, which have a very wide, right combination of both public and private university. So to name you a few, you have California, you have Washington, you have Oregon, you have Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan. So the list is endless, basically. This is the most predominant question that comes to our mind when we, actually start doing our research in our destination, which destination to go for and why exactly to choose USA. Now, there are a number of reasons why you should go for USA as your destination, but some of the most important are, of course, the highly reputed institution. You can talk about any Ivy League university, any top ranked university in the QS rank. About any walk-off streams, maybe from computer science to ECE to mechanical engineering to chemical engineering, even for that matter, if you are from looking at, the healthcare industries like other programs like MPH, Masters of Public Health, or the business related programs like an MBA, business analytics, all this you would now you would have more than a lakh of technological companies functioning in the US, from any size you can talk about. CPT and OPT opportunities. Now, this is something that I would like to talk about in the, slides to come on. And the last but not the least would be the hassle-free application submission. So when I say it is a hassle-free application submission, it means it's that simple and that easy. You just have to fill the form, you have to upload the documents, and you are good to submit the application. Now, let us look into the hierarchy of US education system. And of course, you start after your high school. You can do an undergraduate program for 4 years, okay? Or there is another way of doing it by doing it 2 years in a community college and then shift into the bachelor's degree to do or complete the next 2 years. After your undergraduate program, you can then apply for a master's program. And after your master's program, if you intend to be on the research field, then you can go for your PhDs, the doctorate degree. And if you more further wanted to, go up in the hierarchy, you can go for the postdoctorate education. So this is more or less the educational system that the US universities follow. Now understand the type of degrees that is most commonly offered by the universities in US. Now, associate degree are something which is given by the community college. In my previous slide, I spoke about the undergraduate student can do 2 years with a community and then the rest 2 years with the bachelor's university. But the most commonly known or given degrees are the bachelor's degree, known as the undergraduate degree. And there, the undergraduate degree is for 4 years. So even if it is a Bachelor of Arts or a Bachelor of Science, they would be for 4 years. Your master degree. Now, master degrees are usually for 2 years, but like the common subjects, like you go for MS in CS or or any other MS programs. Then you have M engineering program. They are mostly for 2 years. But the courses like M engineering or the business related courses, for example, business, MIM programs or the business analytics program itself, you can find it for these programs to be lesser than 2 years. Sometimes it is even lesser than a year program as well. Then you have a doctorate degree. Of course, it is also known as the PhD degree. Now, the duration would range from 3 to 5 years. The PhD that is very, very important. And again, the standardized test, GRE and GMAT, is of course important. Along with that, you also need to have your IELTS or TOEFL, score with you. Now understand what are the main criteria that you would need, in order to go for a master's degree or a PhD or an MBA program while you are going for your US university. Now, the entry criteria for the master's program are basically you would need to have a 4 years of bachelor's degree. So all the engineering program here in India is for 4 years. So yes, you can apply there with a average GPA of about 3.0. Now, if you convert this 3.0 to percentage, it would come to about 60 to 70% and above. Okay, so 3.0 is a very decent GPA that you should look for. And of course, your proof of English proficiency test, which is your IELTS and TOEFL. A lot of time I've been asked, which test to go for, whether should we go for IELTS or we should go for TOEFL. So I tell them it's each to its own. Wherever you are more confident with, wherever you have more, comfortable with, you can go ahead with the same, because both the tests are, is going to be accepted by the US universities. Now, standard GRE score, you can ask me what is the standard GRE score. So again, about 312 to 315 is, I would rate it as a standard GRE score. Okay. We give a lot of importance to, our academic profile, like GPA and IELTS score, TOEFL score, GRE. But what is also important is to give importance to your documentation. This is going to be the make or break for your application as well. So statement of purpose is very, very important for a master's program. So whatever is your accomplishment so far, your academic journey so far, you need to convert it, you need to put it in a paper, pen and paper. And this is going to be the deciding factor, because with your SOP, with the other profile, your admission committee is going to actually look forward to how you are as a candidate. If you have a great candidature, but you are not able to convert it into a good SOP, then, of course, it will be a miss for you. Then a letter of recommendation, you would need minimum of 3 letters of recommendation, ideally 2 from your academic professor side or academic side, and 1 from your internship side, or if you are a working person, you can get it from your workplace as well. And of course, resume. The additional, thing or the aspects that is going to really put your candidature at a pedestal, or maybe that can put a lot of importance, is that you need to also have a lot of relevant project along with this main requirements. If you have internship projects intended to the, very much related to the intended program that you want to do, your internship projects, then that's going to be a big plus for your application. If you have any research published paper under your name, it is again going to be, doing wonders for your application. Then if you, can portray your leadership quality, if you can showcase your leadership quality, if you have been a part of any social activity, if you have ever participated in any kind of an NGO form, then this is all going to add on to your profile. And this is really going to give you a lot of importance. And, and that's the main criteria, along with the additional aspect that will add weightage to your application. Now, for every rule, there is an exception. So here we are also having few of the exceptions. So the number 1 is, in my previous slide, I talk about having a 16 year of education. But in India, we have BSc, BCom. These courses are generally for 3 years. So even if you have a 3 years of education, you are still, eligible to apply to, if not all, but some of the universities, because they do accept 15 years of education as well. Okay, provided the university in which you are studying in India has to be NAC accredited. Now, again, as I mentioned about having a standard GRE score, a lot of university have waived off GRE or not even looking at the GRE. So even without GRE, GMAT score, it is possible to have several universities under your kitty. A student with a lesser IELTS and TOEFL score can also get the admission. Now, some of the universities logo you can see on your screen. So these are some of the good ranked university, for example, NJIT, Oregon State University, UMBC, New Haven, Suffolk University. These are all universities which actually accept 3 years of bachelor's degree. So the people with having a 3 years of graduation are very much there for USA to apply to. Now, let us understand what are the criteria that you would need for a PhD program. So number one, of course, you need to be successfully completing your master's degree. But again, this is a very beauty of an US university, that's like something that is not available or it's not given by any other part of the globe. That is, if you have an exceptional profile, if your undergraduate performance have been outclassed, and you have been really consistent with your academic journey, you can apply to the PhD program with just 16 years of education. So this is very important. Right after your undergraduation, you can go for your direct PhD. So master's is even not required. But for that, you need to, of course, have that kind of a profile, that kind of an exceptional career in your academic journey. Now, again, English proficiency test is mandatory. So either you go for IELTS or you go for TOEFL, that is up to you. Standard GRE score. Now, if you are looking for a PhD program, sometimes, you've been asked to give also the GRE subject test. So, for example, if you are going for then in that case, sometimes some universities will ask you to write a subject GRE in physics. Okay, so in this case, you need to have that. Again, with the statement of purpose, which is the ideal requirement for masters, but here with the statement of purpose, you also need to have the statement. Okay, this is also very, very important criteria for your PhD papers. Letter of recommendation, again 3, and resume, of course. What could be the additional aspects over here? That is the academic research internships. Okay, academic research internships, you need to have the relevant project, relevant papers according to the PhD where you want to apply to. And the important thing is the publications. You need to have at least one publication, paper publication under your kitty to make your candidature strong enough for a PhD program. So these are more or less the main entry criteria that you would need to keep in mind in order to apply for a PhD program. Having understood the masters and the PhDs, now concentrate on the MBA program. Okay. Now, ideally, you would need a bachelor's degree to go for an MBA program. Sometimes a master's degree is also required. Okay, so ideally, a 4 years of bachelor's degree with a relevant work experience, and your GPA should be about 3.0. Okay, but again, as I said, there is an exception to everything. So you would get about some universities available considering the 3 years bachelor's too. Now, what makes the MBA application different from MS and PhD is the work experience that you need to have along with you. But again, there is an exception. There are some university, the top notch, like the Yale University, UPenn, University of Pennsylvania. They do not require any work experience. So, everyone who have a little inclination towards managerial side, who has an inclination towards going for an MBA, for you all, whichever category you are, open up. US universities are open for you. Standardized test, you can write either or GRE or GMAT, depending upon, again, your conveniency. English proficiency test, again, IELTS, TOEFL. Now, the thing that is again making this MBA application a little more than the MS and PhD would be the involvement of the essays. A minimum of 3 essays that you need to have a lot of writing, practices involved in your MBA program application. So yes, it could be subjective based, the essay could be situational based, ideologies related. So there are a number of essays that you have to brace yourself to do for the MBA applications. Letter of recommendation, again 3, and a very, very strong resume. What is important is that you need to have a work experience. Few exceptions, of course, is there, as I spoken about. But then most of the universities would need you a work experience. And if it is in the managerial level, that is like definitely a feather to the cap. You need to have an extracurricular activities, whether you do it from an NGO or from a sports side, from an art side, wherever your inclination is, but make sure that you participate in those extracurricular activities. And the third and the most important is the startup initiatives. These days, we are seeing a lot of entrepreneurship courses or program being offered. A startup initiative is something that if you showcase your leadership qualities, your managerial qualities, so from the scratch, you can show a lot of things about yourself. So that is really a good thing to have for an MBA application. So these are the entry criteria for an MBA program that you need to keep it in mind. Now that we have understood what do we need to apply for US universities, what are the criteria that we need to focus on. But when we need to do that is again the most important question. So the timeline is basically very, very important. Now in USA, we follow 2 intakes. Okay, there are mainly 2 intakes. So the first one is the fall intake. Okay, the second one is the spring intake. Now, fall intake is something that generally starts in the month of September. Now, if you are looking for a fall intake, ideally your preparation or the coaching should start by June, July, August. So this is the 3 months in which you need to really prep up for your GRE, for your TOEFL. Okay, September is the ideal time to write your GRE. Okay. And then TOEFL you can write the next month. Just give yourself a time to prep up, to browse through whatever, and then you can go for writing your TOEFL in the month of October. Now GRE, you will get the score right there and then after you have done writing it, finishing with your GRE. TOEFL might take about 7 to 10 days to come to you. So October is the time when you'll be done with your scores and you would know where you are. And thing is that October is the time when you would actually start, the US application rolling will start on, the portal will open. Okay. So then you can start applying to the universities. You would have your deadlines in December, January, and sometimes it gets stretched to even February too. But ideally, most of the top-notch universities, they will get consumed by December, January. So the key here is to apply early. So if you follow this timeline, you apply early, then you would definitely stand a lot of chance in cracking your dream universities. Now, having said that, February onwards, the university will start rolling the admissions to you. So admission offer letter would start coming to you. Then something called as I-20, that is a very important document that the university will send you, okay, along with sometimes with the offer letter, sometimes it even sent in a bit late, but ideally March is the time when you would start getting your I-20s, okay. Now, once you have your I-20, then you are ready to apply for your visa. May to July is the time when the visa slots are getting opened by the US consulate, and mid of August and the end of August, you generally fly down to your destination. So this is the time schedule for your fall intake. Now, looking at the spring intake. So spring intake, fall intake starts in the month of September, and spring intake starts in the month of January. Now, if you are looking for a spring intake, ideally the previous year's December, Jan, Feb is the time yourself. Again, GRE you can give it in the month of March, TOEFL in the month of April. Results will come to you in April, and April is the time when the deadline will start commencing. Okay. Now, April, May, June, you would have deadlines available even in these months as well, but ideally, this is the timeline when most of the universities will also get consumed. Now, I-20, you will get it sometime in October to December. Visa slots will be open in November. Again, some few in December, and you are ready to fly to US in the initial period of your January month. Okay, so this is the timeline that you need to follow if you're going for a spring intake. Now, ideally, all universities will have a fall intake. Spring intakes are relatively lesser. Not all the university will give you the spring intake, but then they are aptly available with 90% of the universities in US. Now, we have also categorized the timeline according to whichever year currently you are in. Okay, so if you are, any one of you here in this webinar is from the first year of your studies, then you would have the ideal time. You can actually go in a very peaceful way, prepare your GRE, just 30 minutes of practice every day. Second year, take a GRE, get it done. Basically, GRE would remain valid for 5 years, and after your application is done, and even if you go there, that score is going to be valid. And it will also do one more thing to you, is that if you have not gotten a desired result of your GRE, then you would have time to do the analysis. Where did you go wrong? Where did you falter? You can actually get back stronger with a lot of preparation. This will give you a time to actually think and analyze and strategize your GRE and do better in that. Third year is your profile building stuff, wherein again you can involve yourself in a lot of summer internships, in a lot of projects, relevant projects. You can even start with drafting your SOP. Now, SOP is something that takes and it's the most time consuming part of the application. So by the end of third year only, you can go ahead by drafting the SOP. If you're in fourth year, you can go for, then in the fourth year, you can go for, finalizing your universities, finalizing your SOPs. You can work on your paper publications, collating documents like transcripts and everything. Then also finalizing your deadlines of the top schools, and then get going with it. So this is for basically a first year student. Second year student can follow from the second year. You can start prepping for the GRE, then your projects, relevant profile building stuff. Then fourth year, again, the same thing that I spoke about as the paper publication, SOPs, prioritizing universities, researching of the universities and top school deadline, prioritizing those as well. Okay. If you are in your third year, you need to have your GRE preparation, your summer internships, your documentation, everything need to start by now, So this is the right time where you can get seriously involved in this process. Again, you have the full year to even work further with finalizing everything, so you would again get a lot of time in order to prep yourself up. But if you are in your fourth year currently, then it's the time to just focus on all the internships that you have. Just see to it that how best you can put your best foot forward, how best you can prepare for your IELTS and TOEFL and GRE. And then, of course, the other side of the application, like university shortlisting, which universities to apply, how to, do the applications, everything you would need to do it in your fourth year. Now, let us understand what are the other documents that you would need apart from your SOPs and LOR and resumes. What are the other documents that you would need? Now, I've categorized these documents into 3 parts. One is your academic documents, one is your visa documents, and the other one is your financial documents. Now, academic documents, I've also spoken about your TOEFL score and a GRE score, the official GRE and TOEFL score. You would also need a transcript. So what is a transcript? These are nothing but your marks cards or the mark sheets, the consolidated mark sheets, which you would need from your 12th class onwards till date. Okay. You would need a research statement in case if you are going for a PhD, application form. Very, very few university will ask you the financial documents right at the time of your application. So this is nothing but the bank statement that you need to upload while you are submitting your application. Okay. But if you are collecting the financial documents for the visa purpose, so without the bank statement, as in along with the bank statement, what you would also need is the affidavit of support. So what is it? It is nothing but a letter given by your sponsorer, okay, who is going to sponsor your education. Either it could be your parents, your paternal side uncle, whoever that it may be. Now, you also need to provide your proof of family income, your IT returns at least for 3 years. You also need to give your chartered accountant the CA letter. Now, why do we need a CA letter? It's not mandatory. But in case if you don't have a liquid cash which can showcase your covering of your tuition fee and your living expenses, then in that case the CA of your family can make the entire valuation of whatever assets and properties you have, and you can take it for your visa interview. And if some of you are going for loan, then in that case you also have to have your loan education letter along with you. Okay, so these are the important documents that you would need to keep in mind while you are prepping for your visa. Other than this, the most important thing that you would need to have to file the visa, the number one is passport, of course, then your DS form, then you have your I-901 service payment confirmation. You also need to have your I-20, then the acceptance letter, and then you will get your visa appointment confirmation letter. So these are the documents that you would need to keep in handy while you are filing your visa. Now just see what would be the cost of studying in US. Okay, now GRE, GMAT plus either you go for IELTS, TOEFL. This is a one-time fee that you will have to pay unless you are retaking your exams. So which is going to be approximately 30,000. Your tuition fee is going to be approximately 35 lakhs. Now, this is why approximate, because this is going to be depending on the university that you choose, on the program that you choose. Okay, every year you can expect some changes in the tuition fee as well. Okay, your living cost will also depend upon which area you are going to, what is going to be your lifestyle. So this also would have a lot of impact on your living cost. But approximately what we have seen is about 12.5 lakhs is your living cost. Again, airfare and visa fare is something that usually you need to pay only once. So the total cost will come to about 50 lakhs per year. Okay, so this is in a nutshell the approximate costing that you might have to think of if you are thinking of US as a destination. Now, how can you get the financial benefits or the aids to lesser your tuition fees? How can you actually get a lot of financial help while you would be going forward to study in US, considering it is a little higher end? So here also you would have three options. So you get tuition fee waiver in the form of assistantships, okay, which is your research assistantships, your teaching assistantships, and your graduate assistantships. So based on your profile, your admission committee will decide which assistantship is going to work for you. Okay. Now, you can also get the part-time jobs on campus. Okay. Now, the part-time jobs can be basically 20 hours per week during the study time. But if you are going for a full-time job during your holiday, if not coming back to India, if you want to stay there and make some money, you can go for full-time, which is about 40 hours per week. This is the on-campus employment I'm talking about. About the assistantship which you would be offered, okay, which is teaching, research. You also would get a fellowship. You can work as an event coordinator. You can also work as a laboratory assistant. You can work in the food department, in the library. So there are a number of opportunities that would be given to you to, basically get an employment on campus. Okay. Now, there is one important thing or a feature about US university is to have a off-campus employment as well. Okay, so remember in my initial slide I spoke about why US would be beneficial for you, and I spoke about CPT and OPT. So here it is CPT, which is nothing but an opportunity given to the international candidate to gain some employment experience in the US. So to have the CPT available for you, what you need is you just need to have completed 9 months of your curriculum, of your academic curriculum, and you need to be so for that, you can get a CPT, which is a curricular practical training. Okay. You can go for two types of CPT, like a full-time CPT will be a more than 20 hours per week. Okay. Or a part-time CPT, which could be equal to 20 hours or it could be less than 20 hours per week. Okay. Another thing attached to this is the OPT. Now, what is OPT? OPT is the optional practical training. For CPT, you need to have completed 9 months, but to avail the OPT, you need to have completed at least one full academic year in the US universities. Okay. The eligible candidates can also, want an OPT in the major area of their studies. Okay. Now, OPT can never be part-time. It is going to be the full-time offer for you to be working in US with having a F1 visa, with having only your student visa. Now, mostly the OPT is given for a 12 months, okay, which is a year. But if your course comes under STEM, which is science, technology, engineering and mathematics, in these departments, if your course comes in, if your program comes in, then this 12-month gets extended to more 24 months, which will become 36 months of OPT. So basically, imagine just with your F1 student visa, you can work for 3 years in US, that too a full-time position in any of your organization. So which is again amazing thing, which has come to amendment from year 2008. 36 months, you can actually, convert your F1 visa to H1B visa as well, if your employer are sponsoring it. So these are the benefits of basically the CPT and OPT program, which is an unique thing to the US universities. Now, this is the top MNC's headquarters. This is the most exciting time period for all of you all when you will be all done with your programs or the courses. These are the headquarters, or these are the career options that will be available to you all. Okay, so you would have, you name any, all stalwarts are present here. You have Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Apple, Citibank, FedEx, you have Hitachi, you name P&G. So all the biggies are there, to start with your career. So this is something that every one of us look forward to, right? Now, Galvanize is going to help you with the application process, with your entire process, basically. So once you get yourself into Galvanize system, first we will do is the onboarding. So what is that onboarding? Is that the profile evaluation call or the discussion. So students and the mentor or the counselor will have an interaction. They will go through the profile of the candidate very deeply. They will recommend what is it needed to uplift the, the candidature to the profile if needed be. And then basis that and more a lot of conversations that would happen with the student and all, you will then be having the university shortlist. Okay. Now, university shortlist will be again based on your test scores, your academic journey, your experiences, workplace, and other internships, everything put in a nutshell. We will come out with a university shortlisting. It will be again categorized into ambitious, practical, and safe. Your third part will be the documentation, wherein we would help you with from the drafting of an SOP, from editing it to every possible thing that is needed to do, we will be doing it for you. We have a very, hands-on people who are doing the documentation. They themselves are from US and the other global countries and have done their PhDs and MS from there, and they exactly know how to, write, what to write, and help our students to come out with the unique SOP. Fourth is the visa. Of course, when you have the offers alongside with you, we will help you to, finalize the universities. If you have a multiple universities of the same nature, then we'll help you to choose you which universities you should go for. Okay, what are the documents that you would need? And then US visa is known for their interviews, right? So we will also help you with the mock interviews. We will keep on taking the mocks unless we see that yes, you are there to crack the interview. Okay, all the tips and tricks will be shared with you. Every answers, every questions, every answers will be shared with you, and we will be preparing you at coming interviews as well. If you're looking for a loan, education loan, then we have a very dedicated finance team going to help you, who's going to meet you the right loan provider. Then before you even fly out, we will keep a pre-departure session where we will discuss the do's and don'ts. We also help in travel tickets, forex, bank guidance, each and everything that is really needed for you to have your chosen destination. Now, I would like to discuss some of our students in Galvanize, okay, who and understand why do I need to discuss this with you, So he is Pavan Muralidharan, okay. Why I wanted to have this student, come showcase it to you is basically, you could see here, he doesn't have a GRE score. There is no GRE score for this student because it's not written it. And besides that, also very standard IELTS score. It's not even 7 bands. Okay, overall CGPA, I would say it's quite good, closing to 9. Okay, he has very relevant project and a work experience of about a year. But can you see his admit? He's bragged and admit into University of California, Berkeley, that too for a Masters of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering. So is something phenomenal that I wanted to, make you see. This is again another student of Galvanize, Anusha Hunjanan. She is, you can see in the screen, right? The GRE score is not that great, only 299, not even a 300, okay? Yes, but she has balanced it out with a great TOEFL score. You can see that she has worked with a lot of research internships. She's got mini project very focused to the intended program that she wants to go for. Her overall CGPA is 8.48, which is also good. And she managed to brag and admit in Johns Hopkins University, one of the very, very premier university in Masters in Bioinformatics. Okay. This is another student. Look at his overall CGPA. Outstanding 9.42. Okay, IELTS score is also very good, 7.5. But GRE score, I would say, is a standard GRE score. It's not something a 320 plus. Okay, but he managed to brag and admit in University of Southern California. Again, because he has relevant project, but again, the other thing which stood out in his profile was the publications. The number of publications that he has under his feather is again very, very phenomenal. So he's from Maharashtra. Now he is Sairam Balu. He is from Hyderabad, and his score is also decent, 317 in GRE, TOEFL again 92. Overall CGPA of 8.38. Okay, he's again done very focused internships. Projects are very, very close to the program in which he wants to do his master's from, and he managed to get an admit from Rutgers. Rutgers is known for his alumni network, and you have great alumni coming every time from Rutgers, so he's managed to get there. See, Ajit Potluri, he is the outstanding student of Galvanize with an overall CGPA of 9.96. Look at his GRE score, 326, TOEFL 113. He's worked with Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Okay, he has again very focused, relevant internships, projects, and academic research under his name. And what made him, besides everything else, what made him stood out was his proactiveness, the way he used to do his work, the recommendations that we have given, that he has followed to the T. It has been phenomenal. We still remember Ajit, and he's Bragdon admit from Carnegie Mellon University, which is phenomenal again. Now, Rahul Rangaraj, he wanted to do a master's in data science, but he did not have any work experience, but he made sure that he has done his projects in the field of data science. He's done his interns in the data analytics companies in Bombay, okay, and he has also not written GRE. He wanted to go in a Indian university, and so the top for him, he always wanted to go for that particular university, Florida International University. So he managed to get that with a master's in data science. Now, this is again an interesting case. Okay, Karnataka. Pranay Karnataka is from Uttar Pradesh, and look at his overall CGPA. It's only 6.9. GRE again 296. IELTS, of course, he managed to get a 7. But he got an admit for MBA from University of Buffalo Sunny, full-time MBA. Again, why do you think this has happened? It has happened because of his work experience that he has under, Bharti Airtel, then GAIL India Limited. When I was discussing the MBA criteria with you all, I told you all about the importance of having essay writing in the application. So Galvanize has managed to do this fantabulous job of giving him these essays writing, and he managed to brag this admit. I still remember the day when he got his admit, he was really elated on that day. So Pranay Karnataka, he's Chaitanya Kota from Andhra Pradesh to US. He was from ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization. Again, he's got outstanding GRE score of 331, TOEFL score of 105. Although he has balanced his less CGPA with great GRE and TOEFL score. He has again great internships, projects, his city, and he managed to again get a very good admit in Northeastern University for masters in data science. Chinmay Gadani is again having, you can see a good GRE score over there, and I should say a very good GRE score over here, 329, TOEFL 110, overall CGPA of 8.48. Okay, so this is there. You have your interns project. He wanted to do his master's in environmental engineering. So he has done his projects in wastewater treatment, then, capacity of super adsorbents. So everything related to the program where he wanted to go for. So this has bragged him and admitted in Georgia Tech. And this is our student who bragged in full scholarship admit in Eastern Michigan University for PhD in technological studies. He was an assistant professor with Mumbai University, and his overall CGPA was 7.9. His again GRE score is 317 and TOEFL score is 95. With this, basically, I like to come to make this conclusion as that you don't get disheartened if your GRE score is not that high or TOEFL score is not that high. It's the balance. It is the holistic nature of the candidature that US universities are looking out for. Okay, so with that note, I would like to again tell you all a very thank you for coming in and joining and listening me out. I hope that this session was a little helpful for you all to gain some knowledge and understanding of how the US university works towards your application. Thank you all. I'm open to take up your questions if you have any. Over to you, Ramya.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And till the time we give you a short break, so that you could sit, take a short couple of minutes break. I would quickly like to run a poll because just now, ma'am gave us a brief idea about how universities accept and how exactly things work there. And with that, I would like to take a short poll here, wherein I would like to understand how would you like to prepare for the standardized test, like because as you see, ma'am rightly said that these tests has helped a lot of students get into good admit if they had any drawbacks in their complete profile. And that's how important these tests are. And great, I like to see that it's a mixed crowd that I've got. With that, I would like to end this poll here. And moving forward, I would quickly like to run the last poll for the day, wherein we would like to understand that you have said that you would like to take help. So we also would like to understand, from whom would you like to take the help? Okay, I see a lot of students voting for study abroad consultants. This really is amazing, wherein you have taken the wise decision to take expert guidance out there. Okay, so as you have got a mix answer out there, we would quickly like to run across how Galvanize can help students out there, and followed by the Q&A session where we have a couple of questions by students, and we will be addressing them shortly once this is done. So as mentioned earlier, Galvanize does have mobile applications which help students for their preparations. But in case you're looking for some more assistance, here we have our online courses for GRE, IELTS, TOEFL, and SAT. And not only that, we do have admission counseling as well. Well, here I would like to talk what are the perks and advantages of being with an online, study abroad assistance out there. Number one, you will be having a personalized study plan based on your areas of strength and weakness, your deadline, and what are your requirements. And you will also have unlimited Ask an Expert for all your content related doubts. And not only that, you will also come across extensive practice questions, because as you all know, GRE is something, GRE, IELTS, TOEFL, it tests. The more you come across the questions, the more confident you get for this exam. And some of the benefits, as you could see, is you have an updated test pattern. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you are aware that yes, GRE and TOEFL have an updated test patterns coming up. So you will have updated test patterns at most affordable rate with expert guidance out there. So these are some of the perks and advantages of being with Galvanize for your test preparations. And not only that, as Sujaya ma'am rightly showed you, like this, the flow of admission process out there. And as you can see, profile evaluation is a part of the paid service, but we would like to get in touch with you and we would like to help you in much better way. And that is why we are giving you a free profile evaluation link in the chat box. Please do make the best use of this profile evaluation, so that you could immediately understand your profile and know how best you can make developments to get into your dream university out there. And here's the link which is shared in the chat box. Also, we have shared our WhatsApp community link, wherein you will be getting regular updates on what are the upcoming webinars and some more amazing I would say, links and blogs and more details about higher education abroad. So the link is shared in the chat box. And in case you would like to take a look at this webinar, or you would like to, check out what are the other webinars that have been conducted by Galvanize, do subscribe for our YouTube channel, where you will get to know a lot of content. Yes, of course, not only about the webinars, you will also get more content with respect to some of the tips and tricks, some, feedbacks by student, and the webinar recaps out there. So this would be a great opportunity. If you would like to subscribe, that would really help you out there. And with that, we are now open to the Q&A session. So Sujaya ma'am, I would like to know if we can take up the questions. Ma'am, you're on mute.
Sorry, yes, Ramya, we can go ahead with it. But before that, I would quickly like to show the participants out here how our portal works. Okay. Just a minute, let me share my screen out here. Okay. So
sure, ma'am.
So yeah, so this is, can you all see my screen over here? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can see that we have about 1895 students who we have been, able to guide successfully till now, okay, from Galvanize. Okay, now what we are trying to showcase over here is the profile, the onboarding process. So this is your profile, which would look like to us, okay. So with knowing your profile and your test scores and everything, we will have a profile evaluation call, and then based on this, we are going to help you with finalizing your university shortlisting. This is the university shortlisting that will come to your tab, okay. Now, if you click on a particular university, you will get all the informations related to this, like what is the department website, what is the program website, what is the application checklist, what is the application form, etc. And then, as I was talking about the documentation, so here it is as well. You have your documentations, which our editors are going to draft it for you, edit it for you, and make it so more personal for you all. So here is the list of documents which we are going to help, right from your resume to your statement of purpose to the main research statement to your letter of recommendations, okay. And last but not the least would be your visa. So we are going to finalize your university. We are going to help you understand the visa process, going to gather and oversee all the documents for the visa. Then we'll help you while you would be applying visa applications and the score mock interviews, of course. So this in a nutshell is how the Galvanize portal looks like to you, which I wanted to share. Now I'm open to take the questions from.
Sure, ma'am. So, just a second, we will start answering the questions. So as we have last few minutes, we will try our best to catch up the questions, but in case we are unable to, please fill in the profile evaluation form so that we can get in touch with you and answer them in much personalized way out there. So the first question goes, does any of this university offer masters in data science?
Any of the universities?
So I believe we had shown one of the university probably, but I believe
There are
he's asking for
many in the
USA.
university. Yeah. Sorry, I kind of lost you. Can you talk it over, please? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I believe he's asking generally in USA, the universities that offer masters in data science.
There are plethora of options are available for Masters of Data Science in the portal. Just now I showed two of our students got through Northeastern University, then there was Florida International. But besides that also you name any universities and Masters of Data Science is generally available over there.
The next question is related to the language proficiency test. Can I do IELTS instead of TOEFL for USA?
Yes, he can go ahead with writing IELTS as well.
The next question is, Duolingo is also accepted for USA?
But the options are very, very limited. I really, if it is not that possible for you to write an IELTS and TOEFL, then go for Duolingo. But not all universities will accept Duolingo. So his choices will go if he only goes for Duolingo.
We have next question from Prakash. If time is less, so can we apply only with the GRE score and saying TOEFL IELTS score is pending? Can we still apply, and what are the chances of getting?
See, definitely you would need your IELTS and TOEFL score before your application. Okay. This is the man. You can go without GRE if the GRE is not asked by the university, but English language proficiency test is important. So you can actually, look into how much time is left, and then you can strategize how to go about writing an IELTS or TOEFL.
Next question is for PhD. Can PhD candidate work on and off campus jobs?
They will get research assistantships, the teaching assistantship kind of a job already available with them. So off campus is not there, but on campus job, they will get it.
Another student is asking, can you explain more regarding STEM CPT? If I am studying MS in biology, should I work in the field of natural science, that is biology only? Can't I work in the field of bioinformatics?
See, if he's from biology department, there are ample of options that is also important, for him to can look into. He can go for biosciences, like a cellular, cell developmental and molecular, biology. These kind of courses he can go for. He can also go for genetics, human genetics and everything. But bioinformatics, of course, if it is coming, it's more with respect to the engineering side of the system. So yes, we need to see the eligibility criteria what the universities has laid down for that particular course.
So we have another question, ma'am. I want to go for MBA, but I don't have work experience to my resume. So am I sound if I go for masters in English?
Um, well, if he does not have an experience with an MBA, he would still have an options to go for. He needs to understand basically where is his inclination towards. Okay, so whether he is having, inclination towards managerial side that he's talking about taking an MBA. If not an MBA, he can go for MS in management. He can go for Masters of Engineering Management. Okay, if he does not have a lot of work experience to go for. Masters in English is a different ball game altogether. It is not comparable courses that I can really suggest on right now.
So we have another question, ma'am. What is the difference between MTech and MS if I study computer engineering based fields?
MTechs are generally given by the Indian university. So you do your undergraduate here, bachelor's of engineering here, and then you go for MTech. But if you're going for your studies in US and abroad, other countries, they generally will give you an MS degree. Okay, so you have to choose whether you want to do it over here in India or you want to go abroad. So this is the only difference, Otherwise, so MTech is generally by the Indian university and MS is given by the abroad universities.
I think almost the questions that we were able to pick up have been answered, but some questions are specific to profile. And in that case, I would request students to fill in the profile evaluation form so that our experts could get in touch with you and, help you in a much better way. And with that, as we have come to an end of the session, I would like to know if you have any questions or, in case you want to get in touch with us, these are our contact details. Feel free to get in touch with us so that we can help you in the best possible way. And I would like to thank Sujaya ma'am for being with us today and helping us with USA, which is one of the very famous and I would say on quite demanding destination for a lot of our students. And thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today. And would you like to share a few words for students today?
Well, I would just like to thank them for being here on a weekend night, which is an amazing thing. And I'm glad to see so many of the students coming here. I would just like to tell them only one thing, just focus on your application, focus on your field of studies that you want to do your MS from, and keep working on your profile along with your scores. That is the only way to put your candidature forward. And also don't really take documentations for granted. This is also very, very important. So give equal time and weightage to everything, and this will really help you to cross the line.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. And once again, I would like to thank students for joining us today. And not to forget, I would still like to announce that we still have the profile evaluation link shared in the chat box. And also do join our WhatsApp community to know what are the upcoming webinars that are there for students. So that you don't miss out. And even if we are there to remind you for the upcoming webinars out there. And yes, of course, if you'd like to take a look at the previous webinars conducted by Galvanize or, looking for more details respect to any particular country or any particular program, do subscribe for your YouTube channel, because I'm pretty sure you will get a lot of resources out there. And this will also keep you updated with the current, updates out there. So once again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today.